Switch gears here a minute ago. I mentioned this because there's the confirmation hearing for Betsy DeVos has been delayed by the Republicans. The Democrats claim it's because there's too much. Her husband owns too many businesses, and they haven't had time to properly vet her for possible ethics concerns. What they don't like about her is that she likes school choice, and the Democrats don't like that. So they're holding back on these candidates for the cabinet simply because they disagree with their position on policy and not for any good personal reason. They don't have anything good on her. They're hoping they have time to dig something up. That's what it comes down to. Michael McShane joining us right now from the Show Me Institute. They've got a great article on Betsy DeVos and who she is up on their website there. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I have to presume that you are somewhere safe and sheltered from Ice-Mageddon, correct?
Well, I work out of Show Me's Kansas City office, and we've actually, up to this point, have avoided any ice at all. So it's a little cloudy, but a pretty nice day here.
Good for you, man. I'm glad somebody's not having to deal with this mess, that's for sure. So the minute Betsy DeVos' name was mentioned, everybody screamed about the fact that she was for school vouchers, and they were talking about all the changes she tried to make up in Michigan. What have you guys found out about her?
Yeah, so this magazine, Education Next, which is published by Harvard's Program on Education Policy and Governance, asked me to write an in-depth profile of her. So I interviewed a whole bunch of people that have known her for a very long period of time. And in many ways, Mrs. DeVos has kind of lived her life out in public. She's been very clear about what she stands for in K-12 education. So for years, she's been for charter schools, for school choice, private school choice in the form of school vouchers or others, online schooling, homeschooling, kind of the whole gamut of school choice issues. And she's also been, and I think one of the conclusions I kind of take away in the piece, she's been a kind of general center-right education reformer. So she was for accountability, she's been for standards, the kind of conversations that folks on the right have been having for 25 years now. So that's the thing. So she's been painted as this kind of extremist, and I don't think the record matches the rhetoric.
So what about her position on Common Core?
So this is the interesting one, and I would imagine on Tuesday during her confirmation hearing she's going to get lots of questions about this, because today she says that she is against the Common Core and that it was a boondoggle, and she opposes it. But at various points throughout her history, some of the organizations that she's been affiliated with were supportive of the Common Core. So it appears that at some point in the past she had a change of heart. Now, when exactly that took place, I wasn't able to get to the bottom of, but I have a sneaking suspicion some members of the United States Senate are going to try and figure that out.
Yeah, I bet you're right. Maybe it was when one of her children came home or her grandchildren came home with a math problem, and she tried to show them the correct way to do it, and they started drawing circles on the page.
That's what changed many people's opinions. You can actually look back to the time periods when kids were going back to school. There were appreciable differences in the amount of coverage the Common Core got, and yeah, public opinion on it has just been slowly trending downward as a result.
What I find is that a lot of the opposition to her and claiming that she's some sort of a radical is going to come from the teachers union and the NEA, because she has been in support of people being able to make their tax dollars portable and use them at a private school somewhere. And I imagine in the minds of the NEA, that would be at a parochial school potentially, at which point they raise red flags about the violation of church and state, which doesn't apply as far as I'm concerned. Is that correct?
Yes, you're correct. And your interpretation of that is seconded by the United States Supreme Court. So you're on firm ground there. But no, I mean, that's the other thing is many of these criticisms that we hear of Betsy DeVos, we would hear from pretty much anybody any Republican would nominate for Secretary of Education. So even if President-elect Trump hadn't won it, had Jeb Bush won or had someone else, they would be making the same arguments. They hate public education. They want to destroy public education. I mean, it's just this kind of tired old rhetoric that is happily kind of having less and less traction now, because I think they've cried wolf so many times that people are going to start to realize, no, wait a second. she just has a different idea of how to organize this stuff, how to regulate it, how to fund it, how to manage it. It's not that she doesn't like public education. It's just she thinks there are better ways to deliver it.
Well, and competition is always preferable, in my opinion. I don't see how that doesn't help any situation.
Well, competition is great, but also diversity is great. We recognize that, our kids have very diverse needs and some learn better in different environments. So having a lot of different options available for students, some of those schools might not necessarily directly compete with one another because they offer something very different, and that's great. So schools compete, a whole bunch of options open up for students. So to me, it's a win-win. The competition's great and the diversity's great, and everyone is better as a result of it.
You didn't, I'm assuming, uncover anything in talking to these folks that you think would be enough for them to derail her nomination, did you?
No, I don't think so. I foresee, now obviously I think most of us have a pretty bad track record of making predictions in this recent political season, but it would seem to me that while there might be some fireworks at the confirmation hearing, it appears that she will be confirmed.
Well, I'll say one thing for her. She grew up in Holland, Michigan, which is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in the summer, so that must speak well of her. I'll just give her that.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
Right. Michael McShane from the Show Me Institute. I'll direct people to showmeinstitute.org, and you can link to this excellent article that's been written on Betsy DeVos, who, with any luck, in the next week or two, will be our next Secretary of Education.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Michael, thank you. Good job on that. I appreciate that, and you have a good weekend. So, this is a pretty thorough article on Betsy DeVos, on who she is, on where she's from. Is she rich? Yes. Has she separated herself from the people? No. She's run for office before. Her husband has run for office in Michigan. She's been twice head of the Michigan Republican Party. She was a precinct delegate. I mean, she's been involved at every level in politics in Michigan. She's no standoffish snob who just donates money to a cause and then claims to be in support of it. She's kind of put her money where her mouth is, which is pretty important. And if you look at a lot of these people he's nominated to the cabinet, that kind of describes them. Experienced, successful, and hopefully able to go in there and get the job done. Give us some vouchers for education. Let's make this thing work. We can do it. You can do it. All right.